Hello, welcome to the Self-Learning Podcast by Dr. Sushma Singh. Let us start discussion on Unit 4, Understanding Decentralization in Contemporary Setting. We are continuing our topic Decentralization, the Road Ahead. The enormous task of national reconstruction and rehabilitation calls for building suitable organizational structures and institutional arrangements which would integrate the people into the governmental process. It should entail creation of an environment of shared partnership between the administrators and the administered. In this way, the efforts of the people themselves could be united with those of the governmental authorities to bring about the balanced economic growth, which will initiate the process of social and political development. It is needless to emphasize that the governmental apparatus will have to be decentralized and taken to the doorsteps of the people, where the involvement of the masses can be effectively ensured. In order to maintain transparency, it is suggested that all the financial details must be displayed outside the Panchayat and Nagarpalika offices and be given to all members. Besides, the auditing should be transparent. That is, the objection by the auditors should be given to all the ward members at the participatory space before the reply by the Panchayat or Nagarpalika is prepared. And the final report should be placed before the finance committee of the Panchayat or Nagarpalika and the Gram Sabha or Ward Sabha. In operationalizing the Panchayat and Municipal Act, the state has vital role to play in providing support for building of local institutions, legal framework, and in creating enabling environment for people to participate and take the advantage of opportunities. The need of the hour is positive intervention by the state through policies for human resource development and institutional development are critical, as these would strengthen the process of decentralization. Besides, in the era of globalization, the central as well as the state government will have to provide critical support to local institutions, as globalization will definitely have its impact on the village life. The state has to build institutional structures at the local levels and set standards to deal with the challenges of global trade, communication system, environment, labor laws, etc., which have direct bearing on the lives of the people in the villages and simultaneously meet the standards of governance. On the basis of the above discussion, it can be said that in order to improve the capacity of the PRIs and urban local bodies, the above measures are required and the requisite components of Panchayati Raj or municipal systems are reflected, and the problems in the present form of Panchayati Raj or municipal system are also reflected. Now let us conclude the unit. Decentralization is no magic wand, as our experience indicates. The success or failure of the decentralization hinges upon the nature of the institutions created, the extent of power and finances delegated, the pattern of power distribution among groups in the region, and the participation by civil society. It pays to remember that the decentralized government, when carefully executed, is the most potent mechanism for social cohesion and people's empowerment. The new system of decentralized governance could provide an element of continuity and enlarge the participatory process at the grassroots level if the provisions for regular elections and the mandatory participation of women, SC, ST and OBCs in these bodies are strictly observed. With regard to social and bureaucratic transformation, the cause for concern should not be high, as the masses in rural and urban areas are slowly but steadily awakening and voicing their concerns. Many sincere NGOs and self-help groups are reaching out to them in order to make them aware about their capacities and privileges, and also to show them the way to a better and fuller life. In the years to come, the rural and urban masses are likely to become more conscious and aware of their rights and duties. Therefore, the planning process has to ensure adequate involvement of the people. The bureaucracy too has to gear up to accept the masses as important constituents of the development process. People's representatives have to change their attitudes and the perceptions towards the general public. The upper castes have to change their traditional mindset towards the SC, ST and OBCs. The mass upsurge has already taken place, but it will take some more time to realize its vision. The periodic reshuffling and reshuffling of leadership by way of regular election and increase in level of politicization of local community will certainly ensure the success of the system of decentralized governance in the foreseeable future. The process of decentralization has been underway after the passage of 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts 1993. Under the new dispensation, the panchayats and the municipalities have been established at all the 3 tiers in almost all the states in the country, and the elections have been conducted. The states have taken certain measures to transfer functions and devolve funds upon panchayats and municipalities. Despite this, the panchayats and municipalities at the grassroots level are faced with insurmountable task of addressing the problem of governance. The experience bring to the fore the need of addressing the challenges faced by the panchayats and the municipalities to meet the desired standards of governance, and in this process state has a vital role to play so that the right kind of system of governance is established at grassroots level. Though under decentralization the management of local affairs is to be undertaken by panchayats and municipalities, but the state has to provide requisite support for institution building and legal framework through policy and program interventions. The crucial aspects that need to be further addressed are empowerment of people, transfer of funds and devolution of funds, transparency, accountability, planning unit and delivery system. And only when are these addressed by the Act in concrete terms, the system of decentralization can be set up in certain perspective. Now let us wind up the session, and we have come to the end of the unit. Thank you very much for engaging yourself with the self-learning podcast.